Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good during this lockdown period. So today I'll be reviewing one of the books, I would say, one of the most powerful and life-changing book that I've read so far, and you should give it a read too. And this is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. You might have heard about this book because this is a really popular book in the self-help world. But even if you haven't heard about this book, I would recommend that you go ahead and purchase a copy, because this will be a thought-provoking book and it's going to change a lot of things in your life. So let's just not waste any more time and just start with the review. So the first time that I came across this book was 4 to 5 years ago when I was in college. At that time I ordered the book, I read it, but I was not able to get all the concepts and all the teachings. I mean, it sounded good, but I was not able to implement those things in my life. It wasn't until 2 to 3 days ago that I read this book for the video, and this time it was truly life-changing. And one more thing I'd like to tell you is that, if you're reading a book like The Power of Now, see, it's always good that you have a, background of reading. Because otherwise it's gonna sound a little woo-woo concept to you. In the very beginning of the book, the author gives you a couple of instructions on how to go through this book, and I would say that, see, this is a book that you don't need to memorize the stuff that he's telling you right in the book, but this is something that you need to experience. That being that he talks about can only be felt. And one more thing is that, before you start reading the book, just don't try to, verbalize each and every concept in the book, because this is something, it's more about experiencing the things that he tells rather than verbalizing. So the whole idea of the book revolves around consciousness, and there are a few quotes that I like to read from the book itself, which says that we are all beggars for pleasure, fulfillment, validation, and security. Instead, these things are already inside us. The very first chapter of the book, he talks about this idea that you are not your mind. Yes, you are not your mind, but you are something beyond your mind. And that is the beginning of all the spiritual and enlightenment experiences. In order to get what he's trying to say, you really need to disidentify from your mind. You see, mind is a tool that was given to us so that we can use it, but the whole idea of enlightenment and spiritual experiences is that you need to stop identifying with your mind. We have come to think that our mind is our identity, wherein it is not, because we are someone who are beyond the mind. And see, again, this thing that I'm telling you right now, this can only be felt. It can't be described in words, but can only be felt. So you see, the mind runs on ego, and ego only knows two things, that one is the future and the other is present. So you see, if you just start giving a little bit attention to your thoughts, you'll come to know that all you think is either about the past or about the future. I mean, you can't really think about the present moment, but that's what he says. You need to get your mind back to the present moment in order to fully experience the being that is beyond the mind. And in the book, he also gives one more quote that I like to read you, wherein he says that every pleasure or emotional high contains within itself the seed of pain. It is an inseparable opposite which will manifest in time, which means that everything that's giving you pleasure right now will give you pain in future, because that's how the mind works. So as the mind runs on our egos, it either thinks about the future or it thinks about the past, which is irrelevant. Just give it a thought. Just look at the this pattern that your mind has created over time, and you'll get to know that a lot of useless thinking has been done by our minds. So also, there's one more thing that the author says, that when you start this process of being in the present moment, your mind's gonna resist it, your body's gonna resist it. And the reason for that is because, again, our egos, it doesn't want to be in the present moment. So what you need to do is to practice this concept of being in the present moment. Again, etc., movies, web series. So these are all sources of to numb the pain in our body and just to run away from our thoughts. But again, that's just a temporary things. And what the author is trying to provide you in the book is something that's going to stay with you permanently. Because let's accept this, we need to stay with ourselves all the time. We just can't run away from ourselves. So why not stay in the present moment if we know that that pain and pleasure cycle is ultimately causing us more harm than good. He also talks about this idea of the pain body, which is the accumulation of all the negative and all the bad experiences, the traumas that we have had in the past. So what they did is they left a residue behind which gets accumulated in the pain body, and it usually takes us over whenever we're feeling angry or whenever we are in a similar kind of situation wherein we are feeling negative, we are feeling sad, we are feeling bad, and all that pain body wants it is you to feed it, because it can't exist without you feeding it. And that's the magic of being in the present moment. You just stop feeding it, and over time it will fade away, it will leave your body, and you'll be able to feel that being inside your body, that unmanifested source of energy inside your body without all these negative experiences. And also talking about the future, I was just thinking that this whole COVID-19 thing, which has taken over the world by surprise, who knew that something like this is going to happen? So what I came to realize during this time, when I just tried to keep my mind in the present moment, I came to realize that a lot of thinking that we do and a lot of things that we think about the future or the past, they create a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear inside us. And the author also defines fear as something that has not happened yet, that we think is going to happen in the future. It's just that anxiety of something that's going to happen in the future, which we have labeled as fear. And again, as long as you will be identified with your mind, as long as you'll think that you are this is your identity, your thoughts are your identity, your ego is your identity, you will be running through that circle of pain and pleasure. And all our minds are doing is just recycling of the old thoughts. There's nothing new. Just think about it. There is nothing new that's been put in our minds. All it's doing is all the things that happened in the past, or it's either thinking about the future. So again, this is something that you don't need to verbalize it, theorize it, but this is something that can only be felt. This is a very simple idea, a very simple concept, that all you need to do is keep your awareness in the present moment. And one of the things that he says is that you need to be the watcher. You need to watch all your thoughts and whatever is going inside your head, but not judge it, just watch it. And what will happen when you start watching these thoughts is that your mind will lose all its power over you. And one of the things that's been happening to me is my mind was just running away from the present moment, as the author already told that it will be an uncomfortable experience for your mind to stay in the present moment. But all you need to do is you need to bring it back to the present moment again and again and again, and with a lot of practice this will become a habit which will be very hard to break, and which I've been working on. And let me tell you how I've implemented the teachings of the book in my life and how is it going for me. So it's been 3 days since I've been trying to be in the present moment, and trust me, it's a really different experience. So see, whenever you look around, what do you see? All you see is distractions. You see YouTube, you see Instagram, you see all the social media, TikTok, and the reason we are doing all these is just to run away from this thing, this mind. That's what we are doing, and it doesn't really matter how much you try, but eventually you'll end up in the same place and you'll be more vulnerable than before. So just start being in the present moment. Just start it. It's a practice that you can do anywhere, you know. And trust me, as you practice it over time, the first day when I was trying this thing, my mind, my body was resisting it so much. But as days went through, today is the third day, and I'm feeling more comfortable with myself. And trust me, if you just read this book and follow this process of being in the present moment, this will be a truly life-changing thing for you. So the idea in the book is something that's really hard to verbalize, although I tried my best to explain it to you all. So this is something that's very hard to explain and yet very simple. All you need to do is stay in the present moment. Start disidentifying from your mind. Just be the watcher, because you really need to put the trust in the teachings of Eckhart Tolle, wherein he says that you are something beyond your mind. And that's been mentioned in all the Hindu scriptures. All the great yogis have told this thing from time to time, that there's something that's beyond this body. So now is the time to experience it, and with the power of now, you will be able to experience that pure joy of being in the present moment. So just start doing this simple exercise, and just start exercising being in the present moment, and trust me, it'll do wonders for you. Before I go away, I'd like to request you all that if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up, and I'll be coming up with more book reviews. So if you would like to see that, just make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you all stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.